Good morning. I'm Julia Smith, a licensed practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living San Jose. Let's settle in for a meditation. To start with, let's take 2 sips of air through our nose, if we can do that. And a long exhale through our mouth. This is called the physiological sigh. Let's do one more. And letting go of whatever it took to get here. Feeling myself presently as my back touching the chair, my feet on the ground, and going within. And gently coming back into the room, taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Wiggle your toes. Open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you.
Church that. That's right. Good morning, San Jose Center for Spiritual Living. Good morning. Everybody say blessed, 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 blessed. Everybody say blessed. And you can put your hands together because we're in this together. We're blessed in the city. We're blessed in the fields. We're blessed when we come and when we go. We cast down every stronghold, sickness and poverty must cease. For the ego is defeated. We are blessed. Everybody say blessed. Blessed. Every voice. Blessed. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say blessed. 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 Say blessed. 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 Oh, blessed. Oh, we're blessed in the city. We're blessed in the field. We're blessed when we come and when we go. We cast down every stronghold, sickness and poverty must cease. For the ego is defeated. We are blessed. Say blessed, 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 blessed. Oh, blessed. Let me hear you say blessed, blessed, blessed. Oh, blessed, blessed, blessed. Say it one more time. Come on, say we're blessed in the city. We're blessed in the field. We're blessed when we come and when we go. We cast down every stronghold, sickness and poverty must cease. For the ego is defeated. We are blessed. 1, 2. Watch that. Watch out for that.
Good morning. It is wonderful to see you all. I have this feeling that it's going to be one of those crazy Sundays.
Why would crazy be the word?
Anointing. So welcome everybody. It is great to see you all here, and we are going to kick things off in our regular fashion. I am going to invite up our practitioners of the day, starting with Julia Smith, who did the meditation earlier this morning, and then Ron Wade is going to be calling us to service, and Les is going to be doing the invocation, and Debbie Balmasier is going to be in the back doing the high watch, and I also want to give a shout out to Eileen, who is moderating. There you are. You're here today. Oh, it's wonderful to see you here today. So let's get started.
After that enthusiastic start, I'm going to ring the bowl 3 times. And let's imagine that it is freeing up, vibrating loose, all the plaque that may have gathered with our thoughts, any calcification in our ideas, so that we may be receptive to this most blessed Sunday. Here we go.
Let's pray. Settling into that one soul, that one life, that one energy source that flows through each and every one of us all the time and together. I add clarity, I add joy to this service and the voices that we hear. Welcoming Queen Michelle back, welcoming Reverend Jeff, knowing that the word that we hear today are the words that guide us every day, every second that we exist. I open my heart, I open the top of my head to everything that is possible, knowing that it's all set in motion by God. And with that, I express my gratitude, my love, and I release my word into the law and say, and so it is.
This is a song, Put Your Music by Ben Harper. The lyrics are a poem by Maya Angelou entitled Still I Rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me down in the very dirt, but still like the dust I'll rise. Does my happiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I laugh like I got an oil well pumping in my living room. You can shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, and I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise from the shacks of a history's shame, from a past rooted in pain. I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise. Now did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops so we can buy my soulful cries? Does my confidence upset you? Don't you take it awfully hard? 'Cause I walk like I got a diamond mine breaking up in my front yard. You can shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, and I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise from the shucks of a history's shame, from a past rooted in pain. I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise. shame. From a path rooted in pain. I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise. I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise. I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise.
All righty. Good morning. My name is Mitzi McClarney, and it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce to you the amazing miracles that happened on this platform just moments ago. I'm still kind of shaking from it. I get to actually call her a guest musician. Are there any other words? Reverend Queen Michelle. Dave Bick Marishot, Troy Arnett, Dwayne Pate, Billy Johnson, our praise team, Suzanne Mulcahy, Renee Tobias, Gretchen Vogel, Elizabeth McCracken. You are not on my list. Thank you. And TJ Paganini. Can you imagine what just happened up here? Holy moly. We are so blessed. I would like to invite you all now to join me in the statement of being. If you so choose to stand, please join me. We believe that life is good and that God is all there is, and that love is the only power. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family, bringing the gifts of active compassion and kindness to the world. Our purpose is to transform lives, build dreams, and reveal God through education, music, prayer, service, generosity, and play. Please greet your neighbors. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, what an enthusiastic and friendly group this morning. If we could all have you take your seats. Reverend Jeff? Come on down. Oh, I got this for you. I got this.
Oh, good.
Here.
Okay. All right, so we have some amazing opportunities coming up in the next month or two, starting with Money Moves in Real Estate, moving up in Silicon Valley. This is the next iteration of the real estate that Jen Beeler is offering. Thanks, everyone. It is happening. Oh, we promised that I'd cruise through this really quickly, didn't we? So this is happening Saturday, March 2nd at 10 a.m. at noon. It is online only, so when you register, you will get the address once you do so.
It is also a free event. It is being offered for free. We have a book study on forgiveness, A Path, A Promise, A Way to Life by our very own Joel Herrera, Wednesday, March 6th. And it's meeting for 3 Wednesdays. Unfortunately, unless it's up on the screen, I do not have the time. 6:30 to 8:30. Perfect, 6:30 to 8:30. And this is where you will read and discuss the book Forgiveness, A Path, A Promised A Way, and learn how perspectives of spiritual principles will teach you how to forgive.
And next we have Mala Bracelets Play Shop. Join Rose Schock and practitioner emeritus BJ King on Saturday, March 9th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for this in-person workshop. You will create, it's like a very meditative process, and creating mala beads at the same time. And it is for $49.
Our very own Eileen Curitan. Right there, wave. Thank you, Eileen. Living to work, working to live, finding balance. Define what life balance means through the year, and she will host an extended healing sound bath on some, oh, sorry, I dropped one. Oh, goodness gracious. Sorry, paper moved. Setting goals for your life, identify life balance barriers, and create a balanced life, and a lot more. The offering will take place March 13th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. for an offering of $49. Thank you.
And we all experienced Erica Valentine doing her sound bath last week. It was amazing. And she is giving not a performance, but the sound bath here at the center as an event in and of itself. It is happening Saturday, March 16th. And this one is for a love offering. And then she's going to probably be offering more after that. And this is going to be a hybrid. I still haven't worked out the logistics of all of that one yet.
How does that work?
That's it. Next
Perfect.
one.
Debbie Slayton. Wave your hand, Debbie. Both hands. Yay, Debbie Slayton. Our very own practitioner, Debbie Slayton, is going to be hosting Creating Your Own Greeting Cards. It's happening also on March 16th from 1 to 3:30. And you'll do a guided meditation. You'll use simple watercolors, tape, pens, and some tangle techniques. I'm not going to share what a tangle technique is.
Do you know what a tangle technique
do.
is? Oh, okay, good.
I do. I know Debbie Slayton.
All right, well, today is the day. Our Congregant Care Fair with an E is in full swing today. And here to say a little bit more about that is Reverend Maureen.
Congregant Care Fair, we imagined this in November. We've been very patient. So I'm Maureen Russ, and my ministry here is Rites of Passage and has been since 2008, which means that I coordinate blessings of all kinds as life constantly changes. And of course, part of that is baby blessings, which during COVID, we did on the Labyrinth because we were not able to bring family and youth in here. Can you imagine? That became a blessing and a wedding that we did on the Labyrinth. And we do services of blessing and remembrance and memorials here in the sanctuary, and we coordinate them again 22, 23 with themes. We had the 49er theme. We had the Mahalo I Love Maui theme for the beloveds who had passed, and that's what their lives were about. And we did one a week and a half ago that was about being here over 5 generations of family. And the family all came in and did the prayers and blessings as we do here on Sunday, invoking the truth and the philosophy of this Center for Spiritual Living. And today we have the fair out in Fellowship Hall. We have tables for you to cover each of the ministries that you have heard about. You've heard about Animal Connections, Compassionate Care, Ministry of Prayer, and Prayer Shawls. Come out and join us. And I will be there as well with a sign-up sheet that you can check off. Are you interested? Do you want to join our teams? Do you want more information about it? And then coming later in 24, I'm looking at Mary Jo Garrett, who will partner with Marsha Bancala to do a caregiver's work day. Aparna Shoot will as well, and I have one on the horizon as well. All of this is compassionate congregant care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Maureen.
Are we doing these last 3 real quick? No. Perfect. Moving right along.
And we'll leave it over to you, Reverend Queen.
I'm like one of those Japanese bowls that was made long ago. I have some cracks in me. They have been filled with gold. That's what they used back then when they had a bow to mend. They didn't hide the cracks, they let them shine instead. So now every old scar shows from every time I broke, and anyone's eyes can see I'm not what I used to be. In a collector's mind, every jagged line makes me more beautiful, worth a much higher price. I'm like one of those Japanese bowls that was made long ago. I have some cracks in me, they have been filled with gold. So now every old scar shows from every time I broke, and anyone's eyes can see I'm not what I used to be. In a collector's mind, every jagged line makes me more beautiful, worth a much higher price. I'm like one of those Japanese bowls that was made long ago. I have some cracks in me, see how they shine of gold.
Reverend Queen. Oh, I love that Japanese bowls is referring to that art form called kintsugi, where they purposefully or not break pottery and put them back together, oftentimes with that golden seam representing, being the analogy that as we age in our life, we develop cracks. And in that process of healing ourselves, we make ourselves even more beautiful. So when Reverend Queen told me that was going to be the song that we were singing, I thought that was just perfect, because it really sets me up for the talk that I'm going to be giving today. So, Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault, and it takes forever to get my way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I still don't see it, and I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. It isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit, and it's my fault. I know where I am, and I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk, and I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down a different street. I love this story, and I know a lot of us have heard it before, but it is absolutely relevant to where we're going here today. And I love it because there is so much metaphor packed into those 5 quick chapters that is being spoken. And I want to give credit. It is called Autobiography in 5 Short Chapters. The actual book is There's a Hole in My Sidewalk, and it's by Portia Nelson. And so I love this idea or the metaphor to it. You guys are going to start to recognize that I love metaphor. I am all about metaphor, and I'll bring it up here every single time. And for this particular time, there is something to this story that I love, in that we can attribute it to the life, our entire lifespan, or better yet, what I like to do is think of the story that is told over and over again in our lives. So something that we experience over and over again, sort of the hero's journey that we experience over and over again. And there is a sort of rebirth and renewal and resurrection often that takes place with each story that we tell. And so the name of my message today is Your Resilience is Your Brilliance. And I know that we have been really digging deep into the word resilience. As a matter of fact, by the time that we get to the 4th or 5th Sunday, it feels like Reverend Rochelle has beat it to hell. And so it's always like, how exactly am I going to be speaking to it? But I find that that's all we do. We just repeat the same things over and over again up here in a different way. So hopefully you'll connect with what we have to do today and where we're going to go. I am going to start with a couple of ideas around this thing that we call resilience, and look at it through the lens of resilience. First, through the darkness and the faith. And how do we get out of those holes that we dig ourselves? How do we make it through? And in that faith, I'm also going to be talking about that. shall I say, in that faith, we bring forth a whole new idea of who and what we are and can be. And so then at later on in this talk, I'm going to be talking about sort of bringing up the season of this month. We just started Lent, and I'm going to be bringing some ideas around Lent and certainly Easter as we move on. So, who has been in this place before, in that deep hole where it is absolutely impossible? Thank you. Anybody who's not raising their hands, come and see me. Come and see me. Who has been in that place before where there is something that is so absolutely huge in your life, and it's almost kind of like a blinder? It is so big that we cannot see beyond it. We cannot seem to work through it. And worst of all, it keeps on coming up over and over and over again. Still, who's in it right now? Great question, Daniel. I love that question. And so I'm going to offer something up around this, and it is one of those invitations that we frequently bring forth up here. But the beauty of this idea that I'm bringing forth is that there's no real crazy plan to it. There's not like something that you need a project plan for. There's not where you go, I'm going to do this first, and then I'm going to go do this, and then I'm going to go read a self-help book, and then I'm going to contact somebody, a counselor. It has nothing to do with that. It is in that deep breath that we take, where we pause and begin to get present. Charles Fillmore says it this way. He says, when we have given ourselves entirely to Spirit, we may do things without knowing exactly why. That is because faith is at work in us, and even if we do not see the law and cannot explain faith to the outer consciousness, it continues to do its perfect work and eventually bring forth the demonstration. And so when we actually stop ourselves and let go of this huge thing that's before us and take that deep breath, we settle into it. I know that there is a practice that I love to do. I've talked about it here before in my little insight talk that I did a couple of months ago, and that is walking the labyrinth. I love doing that because there's a sense of motion in it, and it allows me to keep so present to the meditation that I'm doing. And it's also filled with metaphor. The labyrinth, it is in and of itself filled with metaphor, because there is when you take a look at the labyrinth, the big picture of the labyrinth, you see all of these switchbacks and turns, and it looks basically like a big maze that is in front of you, and it can be overwhelming. But when we focus in on our faith, it is like we stand and look directly down, and we see the exact next step that needs to be taken. It is like we step forward. I recognize and know the truth of who I am. And we take another step forward. I recognize that the universe is conspiring for my good. And we take another step. And so we keep into this process just simply by looking ahead and not getting distracted by the bigness of the labyrinth that is before me. And soon, as we start recognizing those truths coming forth in ourselves, we get to that center point. We get to that center point, whether it's within ourselves or in the labyrinth itself. And it is one of those amazing experiences that we have because it opens something up for us. It opens up a new idea coming forward that is going to be addressing this huge thing that we have created for ourselves. And so that's what happens. Something new starts to develop. Remember chapter 3 of our story. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I see it there, yet I still fall in. It's habit. It's my fault. I am taking total responsibility for it. I know where I am, and I get out of it immediately. I have just opened something totally new in my experience. And I believe this to be at the very core of resilience. And so I think about this and all that opens up with us when we start thinking about things anew. And it's like when we discover something that doesn't serve us anymore, we eliminate that, and there is this huge void or vacuum that's created that's bringing in something new for us to experience. We have no idea what that's going to look like until it is presented to us right in front of our faces. And it is one of those things that we look back on our life that's bookmarked, that we look back and say, that was a defining moment in my life. Do you remember when I was at that point in my life and something just opened up because I started thinking of it differently? I started trusting in faith. I started knowing the truth of who I am. And it is truly one of those defining moments that we always remember. It is a beautiful process. And then we go back to chapters 4 and 5. 4 being, I walk down the same street, there is a deep hole in the sidewalk, and I walk around it. That, in and of itself, we could end the story. That's good, and that is good. It is a great way to end it, but it goes one step further, and I love the way that it does it. It says, I walk in a different street. I walk down a different street. That feels like total healing to me. It is like we have totally surrendered. We're not walking to the side of the hole and being tempted by it. We have completely decided to create a new path in our life. That is a great demonstration of healing through this process, and it all starts with faith. I have a story to tell. I picked on my mom last month, and this month I'm shifting gears over to my father. He's not the main character in this story, but it is a story of recognizing someone's resilience and becoming like the Japanese bowl, a beautiful, beautiful representation of the divine. When Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast, I remember it very, very well. I remember watching television, and you'll remember this too. There was this footage that was coming out for like a week after the hurricane had hit. It was from the helicopter footage, and there were people on their roofs, and they had spelled out, please help us in the debris that they had caught in the water. And they were there on the roof for like a week. And I remember watching that going, I remember sitting there watching it going, my God, why doesn't anybody help them out of this? Why isn't anybody helping? Do you guys remember that? It was the craziest thing. And I felt a calling, and I'm going to skip a lot of this beginning part of the story because it's not necessarily relevant, but I did manifest a trip to New Orleans with my father, who was going with his Unitarian church. They had a whole group of people going, and so I joined them for that. And so my dad and I I inherited his handyman gene, so that has always been a part of it. And it was funny, we didn't even talk to each other about this. We both came with 2 suitcases full of power tools, and they weighed a ton, and you could just see us both walking together, dragging these things. That was kind of funny. At the same time, I also recognize this as a good opportunity for me to connect with my dad, because our relationship, my parents got divorced when I was 6, and so he wasn't around a whole lot, and we really didn't know how to communicate with each other. So this was a great opportunity for me to step in. And so that we were there for this first time for a week, and my dad and I and about 10 other volunteers were assigned to a gentleman's house. His name was Rick. His house was pretty much down to the frame. Everything had been torn down, and Rick was living in one of those FEMA trailers. I don't know if you remember that or not, but the government supplied a whole ton of these FEMA trailers, and they were awful. I mean, these things were awful. None of the appliances worked, at least for Rick's. None of the appliances worked, and his bed was like this really thin mattress, and he had been living there for probably like 6 months. It was about 6 months after the hurricane that we came there. And so we started to work on doing various jobs in his home. And there was something that I noticed that started unfolding every time I was there. In the morning, my dad and I and the volunteers would get there, and he'd have breakfast. He was cooking breakfast, and he was serving everybody. And it was really one of these wonderful connections that we started to have with Rick. He was a wonderful guy, huge man. And I started to also take note that throughout the day, I would see him jumping from volunteer to volunteer and talking with them. He was sharing his story, and he was getting to know each person that was there. And so it was really this wonderful process of seeing this guy connect. He was truly in a zone of genius with this. And so I would say about 4 or 5 days into that particular job, my father broke his glasses, the hinge in his glasses. And so Rick grabbed him, and they went to a nearby Walgreens to get one of those repair kits. And when they came back, I sat and watched him pull in, and Rick got out of the truck, and he beelined it right over to me. And he said, "Your father is so proud of you." And I said, "Oh, thank you." And I kind of shook it off, and and he stopped me, and he said, "Listen to what I'm saying, son. Your father is so proud of you." It is hard to say that. It's just hard to say because it hits me right there. And so it was a moment that I said, "Thank you very much for sharing that." And I went home that night. We stayed in this big Unitarian old church. And I had this room, and I got into bed, and I lost it. I just started bawling my eyes out. Number one, because of the immensity of the hurricane and what it had done everywhere. It started to catch up to me. But more than that was Rick's story. Here was this gentle giant of a man who has been through hell. He endured one of the worst hurricanes in the history of the United States, and he lost his home, and he was subjected to abuse by authorities. And here he was in this awful trailer, and yet here he is connecting with people in that heartfelt way. He came beelining to me as if he knew one of my deepest core beliefs, that I was not worthy, and that there was something, and he identified it, and he came over to tell me about it, almost starting that process of healing. He didn't tell me once, he told me twice. He told me twice about this. It is one of those stories where I see someone going through this incredibly tough time, and then because I'm sure that when the hurricane hit and he lost his house, he had this immense problem that was before him, and it had to have been overwhelming. But he filled those seams with the gold and began discovering himself anew, and he began connecting, and he began, and so here we are, the people that are coming out to him to help him, and we are the ones that are being healed. I think it is one of the most significant stories of my life that I will never forget, and I will think of him always. So, I'm going to shake that one off. So, switching gears a little bit, this February 14th was Ash Wednesday, which is the start of Lent, of Christian Lent. And I know that can be triggering for us science of minders. I am really clear with that because of some of the practices and how some people define those practices. And we have sort of a more metaphysical way to look at everything, which is why I love this philosophy so much. But regularly, the Christian Lent involves practices such as fasting and prayer and repentance, but its primary purpose is not solely about suffering. Instead, Lent is about our spiritual preparation, reflection, and renewal in anticipation of the Easter holiday, or ultimately the resurrection of Christ, and ultimately the resurrection within our own selves, for whatever it is that we are working through during that time. And so it is Sylvia Hayes says this: Easter is not about the crucifixion. The whole point is the resurrection. It's all about the incredible strength and beauty that rises up because of the challenge. And so I have an invitation for us today, and it is a simple one. Even if you haven't observed Lent ever, begin today with your spiritual preparation. What does that look like to you? I saw a bunch of hands that raised, and a bunch of hands that raised for those that were going through issues currently. And this is your task for the next week. I invite you to begin this process simply in and through faith. You don't have to look any deeper into it than that. And I would also be amiss if I did not acknowledge that this Thursday is a very special day. It is one that doesn't happen but every 4 years. And so it is leap year. And I love that it's leap year because it really fits into our theme of the big leap for this year. And so I did that thing that we are all starting to do more and more often. I asked ChatGPT about leap year. And here's what it said. A leap year can be seen as a metaphor for a period of accelerated spiritual growth and transformation. Just as a leap year adds an extra day to the calendar, providing additional time for reflection and action, it symbolizes an opportunity for individuals to take a leap forward in their spiritual journey, to expand their consciousness, and to make significant strides towards their higher selves. It's a time to embrace change, to break free from old patterns, and to leap into new levels of awareness and enlightenment. See, I didn't know ChatGPT was going to do my conclusion today, but it did. And so I am going to invite us into that place and space of prayer. Knowing right here and right now there is an infinite one that is at place. It is in me and it is in you. And as we step forward into our week this week, we do so with the knowledge that faith is all that I need. That in those moments of challenging challenging ideas and things and resistance, there is that place of faith that I lean into, which guiding my way wholly and completely. That with each thought, with each recognition of the truth of who I am, I also take a step forward into my healing, into the beautiful expression of myself, into celebrating the beautiful expression of those that surround me. And so I speak a word for this community, knowing that we are truly in our perfect place, in our perfect time. That there is truly a connection to God, to Spirit, to all that is, and it is good. And so in that place of absolute gratitude, I give thanks for all that has happened here today. I give thanks for all of the blessings. I simply give thanks. I let this be. I call it good. And we know this truth by saying together, and so it is. I gotta get in on this order of service thing. Right? The offering is next, right?
Offertory statement, right?
Yes, so we come together in that spiritual practice together, recognizing that abundant nature that each one of us are. And we speak to that giving affirmation together as a community. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive. May I empty and open to receive. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. Every voice in the room say, may I be empty and open receive the light. May I be empty and open. May I be full and open to receive the light. Just the drums. May I be empty and open to receive. Yeah. May I be empty and open to. That feels good to say again. May I be full. Come on. And open to receive the light. May I be full. Yeah. Oh, may I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive.
Okay, if you have stepped foot into this sanctuary for the very first time, we love to celebrate you. So if this is your first time, would you please just raise your hand? Thank you so much for being here. If you resonated with all that has transpired here today, you will find me or those at the concierge desk just hanging out there. Please feel free to come up and ask me any questions that you might have. And so at this time, I think I'm inviting you, Mitzi, back up to the... It is, when you're speaking, there's a whole lot that goes into this, and I'm never really part of that, so now I am learning a lot today. Let's bring the kids in.
This is fun. I love this. It's authentic and real.
So what happened today, Jen?
I'll share with you what happened today. Good morning, everyone. I am Jennifer Bick. I'm the Director of Youth and Family here at the Center for Spiritual Living San Jose. And I'd like to acknowledge our youth volunteers today. We had Linda with the littles, and Bill with the middles, and Nick and Grayson, Chris Grayson. Oh, God, I always have to remember that. Chris Grayson with the teens. He's my son, just so... I named him Grayson. He named himself Christopher Grayson. So I just want to acknowledge their presence and support here and today, and also Mitzi is going to acknowledge the practitioners and how they are available.
Yes, absolutely. If you have something heavy on your heart, if you have something you wish to celebrate, we have practitioners, what we call the chapel, which is back where the candle is. Is that Julia? She's raising her hand. Please take advantage of the practitioners who will be more than happy to pray with you with affirmative prayer today. It doesn't necessarily have to be something heavy. It can be something light and exciting that you'd like to share and celebrate. Benediction. All me. Please join me. Oh, outreach. Ah, yes, we missed an announcement. Thank you very much. Outreach team is meeting today in the Ernest Holmes room from 12 to 1:15. Thank you, Eileen, for reminding me. I got so caught up in the message today, I totally forgot. Please join me by repeating after me. My resilience is my brilliance.
My resilience is my brilliance.
I am on a hero's journey.
I am on a hero's journey.
Faith is at work within me now. I recognize the universe is conspiring for my good.
I recognize the universe is inspiring for my good.
I take a giant leap forward in my spiritual path. And so it is.
Everybody say blessed, 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 blessed. We're blessed in the city. We're blessed in the field. We're blessed when we come and when we go. We cast down every stronghold. Sickness and poverty must cease. For the evil is defeated. We are blessed. Where's Jennifer?